I once confided in him under the hazy influence of alcohol that my feelings had changed, and upon waking, I regretted my words deeply. If I could rewind time, I'd have no hesitation in slapping myself for that moment of recklessness. Let me share my story. My name is Emily, a 30-year-old woman married to Luke, a 35-year-old man. We've been together for 3 years, and honestly, I'm unsure where to begin unpacking the situation. What I want to emphasize from the outset is that this isn't a fairy tale where everything miraculously resolves itself with a happy ending. Instead, it is a painful, shameful saga that is entirely of my own making. Luke is the kind of man that many women dream of, reliable, generous, and hardworking. He runs a small business, pouring his heart and soul into it. Yet he always finds time for me. He remembers my coffee preferences without being prompted, and stays up late to assist me with tasks I didn't even realize I needed help with. At first, I cherished his simplicity and steadfast nature. He made me feel secure and loved. However, over time, I began to perceive him differently. As I spent more time with friends and observed their relationships, I found myself comparing Luke to their husbands, men who were taller, fitter, and more adventurous. What started as a minor doubt in my heart grew with every brunch conversation and every perfect couple I scrolled past on social media. I chastised myself for being ungrateful, reminding myself that love transcends appearances, yet the feelings persisted. I felt trapped in a cycle of self-doubt and insecurity, questioning whether I was deserving of the love Luke offered me so freely. Then came the fateful night that changed everything. It was a typical girls' night out, filled with laughter and drinks, and I lost track of my limits. What began with one drink spiraled into 3 or 4, and I found myself engulfed in a haze of alcohol, self-pity, and a troubling sense of resentment. When I finally returned home, I could barely maintain my balance. Luke, being the caring man he is, had stayed up to ensure my safety. Instead of feeling loved and thankful, I looked him in the eye and uttered the most hurtful words imaginable. "I'm not even attracted to you anymore." Those 6 cruel words spilled from my lips without context or explanation, and the impact was immediate. The next morning, I awoke with a throbbing headache and a sinking feeling in my stomach. At first, I couldn't recall the night's events, but seeing Luke sitting at the edge of the bed, staring at the floor with a look of utter devastation, made it clear that something was deeply wrong. When he quietly asked, "Is that what you really think of me?" my confusion turned to horror as he repeated my own words back to me. In that moment, the weight of my actions crashed down on me, and panic set in. I tried to downplay it, blaming my intoxication, saying, "Luke, I was drunk. I didn't mean it." But he didn't argue or raise his voice. He simply nodded, stood up, and walked out of the room. That action felt like a dagger to my heart. It was then that I felt the fracture in our relationship, something that might never be repaired. In the days that followed, Luke didn't express anger or cruelty. He just became distant. He stopped checking in on me and ceased the small loving gestures he used to show, like texting during the day just to say he cared. The silence was the harshest punishment of all, a reminder of the chasm I had created. I attempted to make amends by cooking his favorite meals. Even though I'm not a great cook, I left sweet notes in his lunch, reminiscing of the early days of our marriage. One night, I even tried to initiate intimacy, hoping it would bridge the growing chasm between us. But each time, he simply gave me a sad, tired look and said, "Not tonight, Emily. Maybe another time." Instead of confronting the mess I had created, I chose to escape. One Friday night, feeling suffocated by the silence and the weight of my guilt, I went out again, convincing myself that it was just to clear my head. However, deep down, I was looking for an avenue of escape from my reality. That's when I met him, a confident, charismatic man who was a complete opposite of Luke. He sat next to me at the bar and said, "You look like you've had a long day." I should have walked away, but instead, I allowed him to engage with me, to distract me from the pain I was feeling. I let his attention make me feel desirable, and before I knew it, I let him kiss me. The moment our lips met, a sickening jolt coursed through me, as if I had plummeted off a cliff. When I turned and saw Luke sitting in his car, watching, my heart stopped. He didn't get out, didn't yell, didn't react at all. He simply rolled up his window and drove away. That was the moment I realized I had lost him. The following morning, I awoke filled with a desperate hope that Luke would return, that we could mend our relationship. However, when I entered the kitchen, he was already there. His voice was calm but resolute as he stated, "You made it clear last night that you don't respect me or our marriage." I begged and pleaded, insisting that it meant nothing, but he shook his head, his expression pained but firm. "I need some time to think," he said, and then he packed his bags and left, never to return. 6 months have passed since then. Luke is thriving, dating someone new, someone beautiful who brings him happiness. Meanwhile, I am alone, living with the consequences of my choices. My friends have distanced themselves, unsure of how to support me. And even my mother, upon learning what transpired, simply shook her head and said, "Emily, you had everything most women dream of, and you threw it away." She was right. I don't get a happy ending or redemption. I am left with my regret, a heavy burden I carry each day. So if you take away anything from my story, let it be this. Do not take what you have for granted, for once it's gone, you might never get it back. Each day is a reminder of my mistakes and a haunting realization that I had everything I ever wanted, only to let it slip through my fingers.